devCodeCamp set out to disrupt traditional education. We saw a need for software developers here in Milwaukee, and we wanted to give people who had an aptitude and didn't have a lot of time, we wanted to give them an opportunity to become a software engineer in a short, immersive program.
So what is your role in this? Like, is it you who started it? Is it you and Wendy? Like, how did this come to be?
Well, this came to be because it was hard to ignore the fact that when myself and our community manager and our founder were looking at ways that we could produce a person with a skill set that is in demand, it was hard to ignore that software development was one of those things. It just is. And one of the easiest things that we had to tackle was developing our hiring network. It was almost a little too easy, and it really just comes down to the fact that there is a demand for this. There are companies, not just in San Francisco and not just in New York and Austin and Portland, but right here in Milwaukee, that have a major need for talented software engineers, and we are going to be a funnel to be able to get those talented software engineers into these companies here in Wisconsin.
So the hope is obviously get them in, keep them here.
You got it. And the one thing that ended up happening that we didn't really intend on happening was the people that are coming here, this is their second career typically, and they have roots here. They want to stay here, and companies love to hear that this person is coming to get trained. We're really good at, Wisconsin's been really good at creating talent. We're just not very good at keeping it. We intend on trying to keep it here. And these people have roots here. They have homes, they have families, and they want to be a software engineer that lives in Milwaukee.
Is there a typical devCodeCamp student?
The typical devCodeCamp student is somebody who likes to solve problems. It isn't somebody who is wicked smart at math or wicked smart at science. It's somebody who sees a problem and wants a tool set that can solve the problem. And we have people that come to us who are manual laborers. We have people that come to us who are mechanical engineers or salespeople, or you name it. It's been across it's covered the gamut. And they all have one thing in common. They are driven, they have an aptitude, they are persistent, and they want to solve problems. They want to make meaningful things with code.
So tell me a little bit about the recruitment process. Do people typically come to you? Like I heard Michael was talking about he found it on Facebook, and some have heard through word of mouth. Like, how do you begin the recruiting process, and then who are you looking for?
Well, we try to do as many grassroots things as we possibly can. Now that we have a good base of students, the best thing for us is them out telling other people just how effective this is. That's first and foremost. But we try to get the word out as much as we possibly can. And I always tell people that come in, if you know somebody that's willing to work hard, send them to me, because I need more smart people to turn into software engineers. And if you stick with it, you follow our process, and you remove what you thought education was supposed to be, and you embrace this approach, you can be successful. And we see it every day.
Do you have potential students come to you with their parents, and the parents are like, I went through a 4-year degree. This is what they should be doing. This is such a short program. How, this is not typical. This is not traditional.
It was one of the questions that we knew we were going to get asked. Well, why shouldn't I do a 4-year degree versus a boot camp? Well, obviously the first big difference is the time it takes to do it. Not everybody has 4 years, but the other big thing is our students come out relevant. We actually just enrolled a person who just got a CS degree and said he needs to go back to school because everything's changed. And he came here and was excited about learning the technologies that real companies are using, and not just learning about theory. When we put this program together, we wanted to look and see how many hours do you actually get at a 4-year college that are directly related to becoming a software engineer. In Wisconsin, the average is about 825. Well, we're putting 700 hours in 14 weeks. We do not skimp on content. We want to make sure that this is skill over school first and foremost. Companies want to know that you can come in and do the job, and that's why this is project-based. We spend 80% of our time heads down coding. and 20% of the time discussing and covering topics and learning best practices. But really what's going to sell you in that interview, and what we've seen our graduates, when they do get their job offers, it's those projects that they built, those real world projects. And that's what four-year colleges do lack.
How long has devCode been around?
Well, we started a couple months ago, and we are growing quickly. We've expanded into downtown. We've taken over more space at Ward 4. We're extremely excited to be part of the startup community. There's wonderful people, smart people, exciting things happening, and I think if you're thinking about getting into technology, you come down here and you see the energy and you see the ideas and you want to be a part of it, and we can help you get to where you want to go.
Where do you see devCode in 10 years, say?
I want to see us everywhere, because there are so many cities and so many people that don't have an opportunity for something like this because they've been served one solution to a problem, and that solution doesn't fit everybody. I want to expand. I want to bring it to as many cities as we possibly can. We're looking at heading into Madison next week and exploring some opportunities there. Partnering up with Generator and sharing some space. And I think Madison is a perfect place for something that, something like devCodeCamp.
Sounds like it would be good, like you said, everywhere.
Everywhere.
When you said people send them to me, what's the best way to get a hold of you or to learn about devCode?
Well, the best place to start is go to our website, devCodeCamp.com. We've got everything that you could possibly imagine you would need to know. And then I want you to come down, talk to us, ask us questions, see the facilities, talk to students, talk to the instructional staff. That was one of the hardest things for us to do when we were putting this together, was we needed not only extremely talented software engineers to teach, but we needed them to be empathetic, and we needed them to be patient and passionate, and we found a staff that fits all of those needs. And it really shows when you ask a student, what's your experience like? It's always positive.
And all of them are like, you don't really need to have that much experience. You just need to be, like what you said, problem solving.
You need.
All gave that answer.
You don't need to be, there are a lot of myths about software engineering that you need to be a genius in math. And you need to have some basics, yeah. We're not going to tell you that, but at the end of the day, you need to be able to be a person who identifies a problem and wants to get after it and solve it. And we'll give you the tools and the knowledge to do it.
So let's say Friday night at 10 o'clock, there's a student sitting there who's 17, 18, getting ready to graduate high school, and they're like, maybe I should do this. Like, what would you tell them?
If somebody's thinking about becoming a software engineer, I would say look at all of your options. We are one option, and we are a very effective one. And if you want to become a software engineer, that's all we produce. And we are going to make sure that you come out relevant, experienced, you have lots of projects to show a potential employer, and get a job offer. And there's money to be made. Our graduates, after a 14-week program, see an average salary of $55,000 a year. And you can grow quickly from there. As long as you're a continuous learner, you have to be on the bleeding edge, just like we are. We're constantly introducing new technologies. We don't listen to curriculum experts. We don't listen to accreditors. We listen to the people that hire our grads, and they tell us this is what's important. That's what we're going to teach you, because that's what's going to get you the job.
I wanted to ask one other thing about the instructors.
Sure.
Are you looking for them? You said you have staff now, but are you looking for instructors? And then also, what do they think about this? Like, did they come from the background of like several years of school, and then they were kind of like, whoa, this is different, this would be cool, I like this?
They all came in with a traditional four-year degree. And they all came in with the same message. This is exactly what I wish I would have had during my four-year degree. And, it's being relevant, it's using the technologies, it's making sure that you can hit the ground running. We treat this like you are an actual software engineer at a software development firm making real things. They came in and embraced it, and that's what we needed them to be able to do, was come in and know that they're responsible for making sure that at the end of the day, they've created a brand new junior developer.
And now are you looking for instructors?
We are looking for instructors, yes. We are looking for instructors here in Milwaukee. As I said, we're thinking about expanding into Madison. I'll need an instructor there. We're looking for people that want to spread knowledge.
Do you do that hiring too for software instructors? Like, do you have that background yourself?
I do not personally know. I defer to Dave and Ben and the guys who have the technical skills, but there's also something to be said about just because you have the technical skills doesn't mean it necessarily translates and works in the classroom. You need to be a special person to be able to do it.
Is there anything that I didn't ask that you think you'd like to add, or that you'd like to know?
I would say if you are considering a career change, now is probably one of the best times to explore software engineering or software development, because there is so much opportunity. If you make it through this program, you're going to get people's attention, and you're going to get many more opportunities than you ever thought imaginable.
Well, but I know one of the students said the career, we had a few companies here. You're already linked up with certain companies. You don't just teach them. There's a career path, and you help them get jobs. Really, that's.
At the end of the day, we're never going to have a graduation ceremony. We're never going to be throwing our caps and gowns up in the air. That's not why people are coming here to have a party. They're coming here because they want to get a job offer. And that's why we've spent so much time developing our hiring partner network, because that's their end goal. That's our end goal. You're coming here to devCodeCamp because you want to get a job. And that's exactly what we deliver at the end of the day.
Speak a little bit real quickly about the program after the program, the career development, or like the resume development, all of that. So how long is that?
We have a deployment period after the technical learning takes place. It's 4 weeks, and it's a little bit more loose as far as the schedule goes, but critically important. We work on your communication skills, we work on your resume building, we work on preparing for interviews, phone screens. We do all of these things to make sure that you make those mistakes in front of us rather than in front of a potential employer. So we are going to get you primed and ready to go, and then we're going to start sending you out on interviews. Ultimately, you need to take all that knowledge and put it into play when you are sitting across the desk from a hiring manager, and be proud of what you've done, be proud of what you've accomplished, and come in knowing that you can be a productive member of their development team. We've seen it with our graduates from our first number of classes now that are out there working in the real world, and they are living proof that even if there's a little hint in your brain that says, I don't know if I can do that, I would disagree.